Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is the one and only Maxi here, and I am course back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Pac-Man World 3 for the Nintendo GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox, PC, PSP, and Nintendo DS. So, last time, I believe, we have managed able to, went through the 6th world of the game, which I'm not exactly sure what that world is named, to be honest with you, because I don't usually play this game all that much. Oh, would you look at that? It looks like we got ourselves our Galaxian at the very beginning of this new world right there, so that seems a nice surprise, don't you think? But anyway, speaking of the new world, today for this episode in particular, is that we are moving on to new forms of the next world, which, apparently though, it almost reminds me of something related to the lava world from the likes of, well, let's just say a combination of both the Ruins world from Pac-Man World 1, and along with the lava world from the likes of Pac-Man World 2, except the fact that with the generic music in the background, so... well, nothing to hear that much of it though, because obviously we're about to be getting distracted by the forms of the maze at the moment, so we can at least expect this much. So, yeah, I'm feeling quite, well, proud for myself at this point today, despite the fact that I somehow managed to able to realize. Let's get to the negative stuff out of the way. First of all, if you do realize, is the fact that this is my second attempt for this particular recording session of this level, because on my first playthrough of this particular level, I got confused. Like, literally, I have no idea what the heck am I supposed to do. But, thankfully though, on the second attempt of this recording session, I won't have that much issues with this. So, yeah, actually I'll get to more now in a second, because, well, first of all, let me just grab these more pack dots to add some more scores, and we meet up with this fella.
Oh, good heavens, you gave me quite a fright. I haven't seen another living soul down here for months, apart from the ancient guardians, and they just hiss at me. Are you lost, my little yellow friend?
Not exactly. I'm looking for a spectral siphon. Have you seen one?
A siphon, you say? Interesting, very interesting. I'd love to help you, but unfortunately my excavation rig suffered a mechanical trauma a few minutes ago, and I contrived to drop one of the keys to this door into that pit.
One of the keys?
Yes, the door requires two, and one of them is down there.
And I'm guessing you want me to get it back for you.
Could you? I say that would be splendid. When you've located the lost key, I'll drop a ladder down for you.
So yes, we have to go down here, as what he was trying to say to us, because we do need to able to get one of those two keys. Well, technically the first key is already inserted, but now we need to obtain the second key, which means time for some more combat involved, so yeah, that's totally not surprising there. But, I digress. So, yeah, because as a result, though, hopefully for the second attempt for this recording session, I should be able to do just, quite decently. Not the best, attempt out there, but, at least I did manage to somewhat try my best. So, anyway, so a few things I want to explain, and that was the fact that, obviously, today's day is, of course, the 19th of July today, in this case in 2021. Good news, by the forms of the country I'm lived in right now, the UK. Thank God, the lockdown restrictions has finally come to an end. So, that means that I don't need to worry about the forms of all this stupid shenanigans and all that stuff ever since how bad last year went. But, regardless of such though, we still need to be careful out there. But regardless of such though, I think we are getting a bit better as far as, well, the UK country at the moment. So because of that though, again, I will mention more about the actual year itself until by the end of, you know, the whole entirety of 2021. So, but either way though, we'll save that until for later. So, anyway, and another thing is worth noting for is the fact that, during around that time, I'm still managed to playing Skyward Sword HD so far, and it looks like I'm almost getting close towards the end, despite I do need able to go back on to do some more fetch quests here and there, even though sometimes the fetch quests can be a bit too much for my taste, but at least thankfully I can play the game on the go, luckily, so...
I heard a bit of a rumpus down there. I hope you didn't get hurt.
There were monsters in the pit. It's a good job you didn't try to retrieve the key yourself.
What sort of a silly head climbs into a pit he knows to be full of monsters?
You knew about them? Why didn't you tell me?
Are you a silly head? My, and you look like such a nice boy. Anyway, at least we can open the door now.
Super.
But anyway, so now we can able to insert the second key in. Even though I was expecting if I was gonna able to try to get something from up there for like collectibles and such, but again, I don't know if I can able to do the 100% playthrough of the game. Although I would like to do it on my own time, because for what I've played it, again, thankfully I don't feel throwed up this time around, or in this case I don't feel sick this time around. I'm guessing it's mainly because, well, the only reason why I just felt slightly sick for the past few days when I play this game is, I'm pretty darn sure it's because maybe I ate too much chocolate, which is not a good thing. Especially noticeable that it contains too much sugar and stuff like that. But I'm fine now, so either way though, we can expect this much. So anyways, let's try a river roll there, and just trying to smash those jars to able to actually just to obtain the red crystal for this particular... Yeah, you know what I mean, the Pac-Trail thing, so hopefully we were able to actually just to get onto the specific stuff like this, and take a ride for it, and yeah, everything's all comes in together. So anyway, let's just obtain this next key, so that way we can progress, and also we need to obtain this extra life. By the way, I do need to able to desperately want to get more extra lives, because since after all I keep on getting myself screwed over most of the time, in the past, I'm looking at you, World 4, because obviously I'm just getting screwed over by, you know, unregistered jumps, and also just bad camera angles, and just anything else to be more specific. So, but at least hopefully that does not bother me, I don't think, so... So anyways, we still come across into those scorpion or metal scorpion-like enemies ever since in the previous worlds that we've already taken those guys down. However, though, we do need to deal with those guys a lot, by the way, until the future worlds and onwards for this point right now. So, yeah, I might be alright with it, but it's just the fact that sometimes those guys can take forever to beat. So, but regardless of such, though, I just wish there was actually the actual the list of combos you could perform. But regardless of such, though, I might be alright with simplistic combos and stuff like that. So, but anyways, I suppose another thing I should probably explain about this is... Alright, so this is definitely a prequel to Sonic Boom. Nice when you're going through, like, clip for the pillar for no reason at all when I was trying to do wall jumps. What the heck was that? I'll never see anything else like it. But anyway, yeah, another thing I just want to explain too is the fact that, I don't suppose I actually mentioned about this, or even Mega Man has not even mentioned about during the course of Klonoa, the Empire of Dreams Let's Play. Even though, mind you, speaking of that particular Let's Play, that Let's Play should be finished by the time for this Tuesday. So, once that's been finished, then we can probably move on to the next game in the series when it comes to Klonoa's series of games. Now, of course, Klonoa 2, Lunity's Veil for the PlayStation 2. So, at least I'm really excited about that. Especially noticeable how the fact that, wow, that back in new forms of how it does in new forms of Moonlight Museum Let's Play, that for whatever reason, that we just somehow managed to able to go in the, well, we originally did say that we were expecting to able to tackle through, like, Klonoa 2, Lunity's Veil after Moonlight Museum, but of course we ended up choosing Empire of Dreams for the sake of this year, mainly due to the fact of, like, well, basically for the sake of Hyupo's appearances first, to able to get that out of the way, and move on to the forms of the next companions. So, but I've no words to say about this, honestly, apart from the fact that, well, it has been, again, quite a few days since I did manage to able to come back into this game from time to time, ever since on Friday, the same day as when The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD has came out, which I'm still playing, even to this day, and, yeah, and, I think, fundamentally speaking, I think I pretty much more accustomed to the forms of, like, sometimes motion controls, but at the same time I'm pretty much used to with the button controls. In fact, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. which specific control type did you use for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD the whole way through? Like, you were able to play the game with either motion controls only, or just button controls, because sometimes it might be a bit tough due to the forms of how the fact that sometimes the buttons only can be felt a bit iffy at points, mainly with like the camera controls, and I suppose that's pretty much about it. But everything else for the button controls is flawless. Like, for instance, you can now able to take control of the loft wing with the analog stick, which is great. And thankfully you don't need to rely on motion controls, unlike the original Wii version of the game. Mind you, there are still motion controls, mainly for like, you know, trying to able to aim with the bow and arrow, and even especially noticeable with certain weapons, like the beetle, for instance, and also say applies to forms of, I would say, a whip, you know, that particular item. So, but either way though, but then again, it has been a while since I actually did manage to play that game, even though I will come back into that at some point, at some point in the next few days. So, and once I've completely done with that, well, mind you, I did manage to able to get back into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate since, well, ever since about 3 days ago, just around before when Skyward Sword HD finally arrived in my delivery services and all that stuff, because that way it just took me some time to able to actually just to play several Switch games from time to time. So, but either way though, you probably expected by that point. Still haven't heard from the forms of more infos on Mario Golf Super Rush, because we're expecting of how we're able to actually get some free DLC updates in the future, but apparently though, unlike in Mario Tennis Aces, that we somehow managed to instantly get ourselves some pieces of DLC content after the game's post-launch. That was back in 2018. And in that particular year, we actually got first 2 DLC characters ranging from Koopa Troopa, along with the forms of Blooper. But apparently we don't get it this time around in Mario Golf Super Rush, because, well, we'll see what happens in a later day, but not now though, just because we actually on, you know, almost towards at the very end of, well, July, the 7th month of 2021 year, an alright year so far. But regardless of such though, there might be still some bummers every once in a while, mainly for like, you know, some of these worst games out there in 2021. Like, I'm looking at you, Balan Wonderworld, because that game is a massive disappointment, especially how it's now being listed as one of the worst 3D platformers out there, along with Bubsy 3D, along with well, let's just say buddy forms of Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. Even though I said this before, I was promised you I'm not going to mention that game ever again, but I will mention this for one last time just because of the forms of, you know, the list of the worst 3D platformers out there. Like, and also say applies to Bubsy 3D, and I believe there was also, what else is there? I think I totally forgot what I was trying to say something, but because obviously there are quite a few bad 3D platformers out there. Oh yeah, there's also another one which is Ratatouille, the video game, not the movie, because the movie is amazing, but the video game though, it's pretty awful. And also not to mention Barbie the Explorer on the PlayStation 1, because of the target audience is just for little kids, like toddlers, as far as I like to pronounce that, because, well, it's just very simplistic platformer. And also, what else is there? There's also on the worst category for the worst 3D platformers. Actually, oh yeah, there's Rascal on the PlayStation 1, also a very bad game indeed. Although, to be fair though, that, well, that game came out the same year as when Gex Enter the Get-Go, which I'm curious to try out the forms of those Gex Enter the Get-Go franchises, but I didn't get a chance to get around into it though. Along with Croc, Legend of the Gobbos, on the PlayStation 1, well, I've heard about it, especially noticeable about the fact that for those of you who lived in the UK, there was actually a commercial trailer for that game, if you managed to got the film, called Casper the Spirited Beginning, which, if I have to be honest here, that movie blows for that particular reason, because, well, Casper the Spirited Beginning is a pretty ugly film ever. Like, literally, ranging from its the visuals, and also the music in the opening, it just makes me feel cringe. Like, literally just cringes out of my way. Although recently I did manage to watch the 1995 Casper film, and it was okay. I mean, nothing amazing, but it was alright. Despite the faults of some reviewers out there seems to think that it was actually kind of bad. But I found that film alright. Well, not the best I've actually seen, but I'll take that film any day than the A Spirited Beginning, along with Meet Wendy. So, at least as far as what I've noticed, something like that happens to be. So, but anyway, yeah, not much else to say apart from the fact that, well, oh yeah, another thing is worth noting for that I think I totally forgot to mention about, and that is the fact that yes, the new info for the likes of that Pokemon Unite for specifically the Nintendo Switch version of the game. That game now finally has its release date and is about to due out at some point in 2 days from now, and it's going to come out on the 21st of July. So, God knows it might be for free, or does it might actually cost something? I have no idea, because I never actually know about the game all that much compared to New Pokemon Snap, because New Pokemon Snap, I actually still managed to get hyped about it back in the day, especially noticeable after like a year ago when that game first fully announced during the Forms of Pokemon Presents. Like, that was actually a really good surprise, at least specifically the first part of well, let's just say the Pokemon Presents presentation, whilst the second part is really underwhelming. Like, it is literally underwhelming in my opinion. So, again, I might be biased for certain things worth noting for, but I must be honest is that nothing can be perfect when it comes to several presentations and stuff, but it knows where it stands. So, anyway, so, oh jeez, I somehow almost slipped off, but thankfully we did manage to get up, so I should be okay for that. Oh, and another thing is worth noting for as well, that potentially speaking, is the fact that, actually, kind of think about it, I think we only got about 4 more days to go until, specifically, the Tokyo 2021 Olympic Games is about to start. So, I'm sure that you guys may be able to be looking forward to that, though. It kind of sucks that, there won't be any, spectators out there, which is kind of sad, honestly, because I would love to see the actual spectators, in action on several events. Well, mind you, because of the last... I have no idea why I get bursts like that, but I digress. But, there are, as I mentioned before, when it comes to likely some worse 3D platformers out there, in regards to this game so far, it's nothing bad, but it just feels a bit, okay and alright for me. Although, I will discuss more about that until whenever we finish the main, game first. Although I'd like to able to appreciate it if I was going to try to show you guys, the extra stuff of how this game offers us too, but, there's not much right to home about, aside from, like, collectible cards you collect, like, every time you collect one of those collectible cards in each world, basically you do get one of those different, some sort of, like, cards you collect, and, I think that's pretty much about it. And also, much like in Pac-Man World 1 and Pac-Man World 2, that you do get your ability to, you can able to actually play classic Pac-Man, the arcade game again, for the 3rd time in a row by able to include it on the actual Pac-Man World trilogy. Although, mind you, unlike in Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures 1 and 2, that for whatever reason, that those 2 games do not include the classic arcade game for some reason. So, I thought it was worth mentioning, even though despite having really looked on that particular playthroughs as much as the forms that other guys do, but it knows what it is, so... Oh boy, so it looks like we're going to be taking control of Pinky again after the events of, what was the last time we played as her? Oh yeah, on the 4th world in the game, where I have a lot of struggles with, due to the forms of, bad camera angles, and also just pretty much everything else for that resides. So, anyway, so once again we have to just, you know, create some platforms, including the forms of that particular platform over there, that actually prevents us to able to perform a wall jumps that we can able to pull off. So, we'll try to able to go for that. So, anyway, and, again, there's not much else I can talk about, I must be honest here. Even though that when it gets to the point until the next couple of days or so, then there's going to be a lot of emphasis on lack of information we can talk about. Well, apart from the fact that we did already mention about a lot of stuff in the past, which I guess is like a good thing, ever since in June and all that stuff, which I suppose that's usually the case. But aside from all that stuff though, well, we'll just have to stuck with the forms of the lack of infos, I'm afraid. Well, for something new and anything, because, well, we already mentioned about this before, and we've already mentioned about this in the past. Well, at least ever since in Warrior Land 2, and also, also Mario Party 5, and also another game which I somehow almost forgot about, just because it has been a couple of days since I did manage able to look back on several videos in the past. For our Let's Plays in mind. Just mainly it's because we're usually just trying to able to focusing on, focusing on other things worth noting for, but anyway. Let's just go ahead and look around again, and I get the feeling I'm pretty much missing one of those little sparkly-like objects, which by that point I absolutely have no idea what that is. Even though, again, mind you, is my semi-blind playthrough of this, so yeah, forgive me for able to actually not knowing what to do here, so again, I might be biased, but still. But anyways, but I'm still a good fan when it comes to Pac-Man World games. Like, I'm not going to sell it or anything, it's just that if I was going to able to play this on my own time, for able to try to 100% the game on my own time, I can at least manage to able to try to figure out that I can able to research on guides in order to able to actually just define everything, which I will try my best if I able to can do that, so even though there might be some bombers out there, like, you know, Pac-Man The Ghostly Adventures, which I honestly don't usually care about the game, aside from likely making a spiritual successor to the amazing Pac-Man World trilogy. Well, the third game is usually okay for me, but not the best Evo I've ever played. I mean, there are a few problems I have with it, but again, we'll point it out whenever we get to the final thoughts of the game, once we finish up the game. So, speaking of the entire game itself, for Pac-Man World 3, I'm pretty darn sure that we're pretty much at the, almost to the halfway point of the game, so we can at least expecting that we can able to actually just try to make these levels a bit quicker and faster, even though, mind you, there are a few times where basically some parts will actually become a bit slower because of obviously not knowing what to do and stuff like that, which I kind of wish there was actually a map function, which, unlike in certain other games, that does manage to have a map feature. Like, for instance, Zelda does manage to have a map function, which I guess is a good thing, for able to actually keep in track of which specific locations you want to go to, and that's pretty much as far as I can usually try to describe about it. Well, it's just the fact that, well, it has been 3 days since I actually did manage to last touch this game after, you know, Friday, the same day as, you know, Zelda Skyward Sword HD came out, and also that during around in the previous weekend that, well, ever since yesterday actually, that Mighty has recently finished up with his 6th board in Mario Party 5, and he only got one more board to go until he'll pretty much move on to the extra stuff in Mario Party 5. So, and by that time, until specifically in this particular upcoming weekend, then he'll probably tackle for the final board in that game, and sure enough, you're able to showcase off some extras at some point. So that should be pretty much expected by that point. So anyways, I think this is what I did manage to found here, which I somehow managed to able to got a little bit confused right here at first, but sure enough though, we're able to try to just, well, I have no words to think about it. Aside from the fact that I do apologize if my commentary itself gets a bit slightly iffy, mainly because of, well, as you can, if you do not know already, is the fact that the weather itself is actually getting really hot right now. But the fact of the matter is, though, is the fact that I have to open my window just in case for some fresh air to go through, and also have to turn my fan on just in case I can able to actually get some bit of breeze, despite, you know, wasting electricity, which is probably true. But for the point stands, though, is the fact that, well, basically I just have no words to able to think about it, so Do I have to go over here? Oh, no, I guess I can't. But, at least obscurely out of nowhere, as you saw, since the very beginning of this world, that I somehow, for whatever reason, just clipped through, the actual, pillar that I've managed able to actually just clip through if I managed able to grab some items and such, which is a bit embarrassing to say the least, but still, can't deny about the fact that not every game is perfect by any means, because, well, again, there are a few times where the actual stuff can be a bit unfinished, but usually from the point stands, that's as far as I can usually try to describe about it. Oh yeah, and another thing is worth noting for this point too is the fact that I managed to continue watching Monsters at Work recently. And so far I'm still enjoying it, even especially noticeable for the next few episodes in. And especially noticeable that I'm really looking forward for the next few episodes is about to be up. So, and also around that time until specifically the next few days, usually roughly about that time when hopefully we can finish this game exponentially eventually, as far as I would like to point things out. Generally speaking, what I just fell off there, and how come I respawn over there? I have no words to think about it, but anyway, is there something I can do from here? Oh my god! Okay, another jump cut right there. I think what I'm supposed to do right here is that, basically you're supposed to able to take control of Pinky over here, and you're supposed to able to actually just, sometimes deactivate those particular platforms or what have you. Actually, kind of think about it, I do need to able to keep on grabbing this particular thing for some reason. And, hopefully, we should able to actually just to complete this, so... Again, nothing bad for this world, it's just that it just gets a bit confusing at times, which... that might be seems true for that circumstances. And once again, we have no music in the background aside from sound effects, so... yeah, I just wish they were able to have a lot more, music in it though, but it might be pretty much limited, so... But again, I'll talk more about that on the final thoughts once we finish this game completely. Possibly during the informs of by the end of this month in particular, but again, we're not exactly 100% sure about that, and I do apologize if that background noise you'll be hearing, because my dogs is actually getting quite noisy today, but regardless of everything else though, we'll try to able to cope with that, I suppose. But anyway, so yeah, this is where we're supposed to go. So basically, we need to rev-roll there, despite the forms of the lack of distance I have to pull off, and basically, that every time you rev-roll, and then if you want to able to jump across, well, you have to press the jump button at the right time, because if you don't, then basically you're gonna continuously fall off over and over again, and it's just, well, a bit time consuming, but at the same time, it might actually give you a lot of practices, I suppose, but still. Anyways, let's try this again, hopefully for much more of a... oh, so close to able to make it! Sometimes the depth of this game can be sometimes feels a bit fickle, sometimes, but I'm just usually trying to say things right now. But anyways, let's go ahead and do some, more wall jumps, and, hopefully, for a third time's a charm, hopefully I should able to make this without a doubt, without any, a lot of trial and error, which, by that time, when Mega Man will go back onto Klonoa, the Empire of Dreams, at some point tomorrow, that he will expecting to able to come across into these tougher levels at some point in tomorrow. So either way, though, that's as far as I can usually wager. So, anyways, there's a save spot right there, so we can at least save the game. So we'll save it right here, and I think we should be good to go for this point. Apart from, well, if we're able to continue things on from there, well, guess what? We got to deal with even more spectrals. So, either way though, but at least, thankfully, the power pellet does manage to show up instantly as soon as we're able to get the battle started. So, anyway, aside from all that stuff though, oh yeah, speaking of Monsters at Work, something related to Pixar's standpoint, basically, one thing I suppose that I or Mega Man has not even mentioned about this either, that apparently the new Pixar film is going to be on its way until next year in 2022, known as the films of, well, in addition to able to try to release Lightyear, in this case a Buzz Lightyear movie, nothing related to the 2D TV animated series. In fact, that particular animated series of Buzz Lightyear of Star Command is pretty much 2 decades old, which I can't even believe time itself is when flying, along with the films of the prequel of the movie, like usually the prequel movie of Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, The Adventure Begins, and I enjoyed that for my nostalgia. Well, aside from the fact that, well, with a lower budget for animation and stuff like that, which I don't mind it because, well, I enjoyed it. Well, certainly enjoyed it a little bit better than how controversial Dinosaur was back in 2000, just because, technically speaking, that I was usually wrong about the films of how the fact that Disney just managed to make a fully CGI movie without any Pixar's help. That, generally speaking, well, aside from the actual environments can be realistic, but, even though it's kind of hard to explain about this, because it's been years since I actually seen Dinosaur movie. Well, not the good Dinosaur though, because that movie is pretty bad, like, for Pixar standpoint, and also it has the worst box office, like, box office bombed, for that particular film, regardless. But anyway, so let's just go ahead and deal with the forms of a Super Monkey Ball slide style. Well, except the fact that where you can at least jump. So, and the fact of the matter is though, we need to like make at the actual segment, or in this case, we should probably make it to that way, as far as what the game expects me to tell me to go that way. But of course, I keep on getting myself sliding down all the time, which either way though, usually happens most of the time. I'm pretty sure there might be something up there, but for what I'm guessing correctly, it's just most likely just, you know, all these collectibles, which I would like to grab them, but unfortunately though, it doesn't look like my referral doesn't like me as much though, I don't think, unlike Pac-Man World 2, where they did manage to oh, it's just an extra life. Although I'm sure enough there might be something up there, but then again, it has been about a couple of days since I actually last touched this game, so... Anyway, so we'll just skip that for now, and pretty much guaranteed able to continue things on here. And, well, it looks like, I'm pretty sure this is the last section of the level. And truth be told, I think, if I somehow made this wrong last time, is the fact that not only does one of those levels able to feature, you know, one maze, or just one of those levels only contains 2 mazes, but some levels in particular also contains 2 mazes as well. You know, something almost very similar to one of those levels in Pac-Man World 1 in the Ruins world, due to the forms of the Ruins world only contains, you know, 3 levels. Well, to be more specifically, 2 regular platforming levels, plus a boss fight. So because of that though, I just still have no clue of why they managed able to go for that decision back in the day, but it knows what it stands by for that, so I have no idea why I just keep on speaking like gibberish at the moment, just because, well, I was trying to say something specific, but I'm just gonna need to able to concentrate on defeating all sorts of enemies, and before they're able to respawn right next to me, and I somehow made it to the arcade machine, so how's that for that? But anyways though, so let's go ahead and do another maze, but this time we have dash panels, so because of that, oh god, it's so ridiculously fast at the same time. But regardless of such though, we can able to proceed to this basically, so. But anyway, yeah, there's not much else I can say in terms of today's video for this point guys, apart from, you know, Pokemon Unite is about to be releasing at some point this Wednesday, along the same day, actually, as when we get into the forms of the second week of Mario Kart Tour Los Angeles Tour, which I still have no luck trying to able to get that Mario Baseball cosmetic outfit character, and it's just, again, it's entirely luck-based. And well, I did manage able to complete the whole tour within a quickest amount of time, actually, which I don't suppose that Mighty hasn't mentioned about, or even I haven't mentioned about this either, because obviously we are busy just managed able to play some games from time to time for the rest of the summer. You know, as I said before, we are still playing The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, and so far I'm actually enjoying it a bit more than the Wii version. Although don't get me wrong, that the original version is fantastic, all things considered, but it's just that the structure of the game can be felt a bit off for me, but that's just me. So anyways, once you're done with this particular arcade maze-like, basically, that's the end of a level. So, you know, just like in the 4th level, it ends off just like this. So, yeah, it's not much right to home about. And, yeah, everything's all goes all fine and dandy and everything. So, and I believe that pretty much concludes the 7th world, basically. So I believe we're now moving on to the 8th world in the game. And in addition to able to go into the 8th world in the game, also on top of that, I'm pretty darn certain that we're pretty much at the halfway point in terms of Pac-Man World 3. So, yeah, we are getting there, folks. We are getting there. It's just that it will come across into slow portions of the game, sadly.
Orson, are you finally trying to finish me off? You've ported me into the middle of an inferno!
Sorry, Pac-Man, but it seems as if Irwin has changed tactics. He set fire to the Gogeta Towers, no doubt to create a diversion. He has a sick mind, Pac-Man.
This is a nightmare. I can't fight this.
Hey! Hi, fella! Anything I can do?
You're gonna have to find the emergency sprinkler controls. Get some water on that blaze, and quickly. That tower could come down at any moment.
So anyway, suffice to say, I think I should end things off here, so join me next time on Let's Play Pac-Man World 3. It's that we are moving on to the 8th world in the game, and it looks like we're on the flames of disaster. Nah, I'm just only kidding. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Later, fellas.